with the vice chair, acting as a substitute, not as a co.
I second that. Anyone else on the committee who has any discussion about that or feelings about that? I just want, go ahead, I didn't see.
I would like to say that I, like just from my experience, which is like kind of different from yours, I've found that two co-chairs work better together. And if the power is distributed equally between the two, between the two of them doesn't necessarily mean that they both have to do the agenda or whatever that, but that they can work together to do what each person does best between the two of them. I think that would help to accomplish more. So that's just my input of why I prefer two equal co-chairs.
So may I put them on this too? I'm thinking of this. I always like the co-chair, process, simply because it does put people, I guess, publicly or on a perception on equal basis, and it works nice, especially if there is gender parity or community parity, whatever we want to call the whole thing. I do like that. But I'm also looking, we are kind of a little bit different because we're sitting as a body. It was brought up before with the Board of Supervisors. And I do remember when we had the representative from the city, the city attorney's office, she recommended against the co-chair status, as I seem to remember. And
I think that was Jill that recommended against it.
Possibly, okay. And then the other reason that I'm kind of leaning now to vice chair, chair, co-chair, or co-vice chair, I'm sorry, is because we're voting on bylaws right now. And, this could possibly, this committee could be seated further down the road. And there might be, changes in leadership or whatever in those positions. So it kind of sets it up for the folks who might be replacing those who end up being co-chairs or chair, vice chair. If you follow my thought here. So I'm at a quandary. I'm willing to take a vote on this and see where it leads as to the will of the committee members. And at this point, I'm finished with discussing it unless there's anyone else who wants to discuss.
I'd just like to chime in, but I think, I think co-chairs would be great. For people who don't know myself or Michael, we have worked very well together in the past. We represent very different parts of the community, so I feel very comfortable with the co-chair position and feel that that status would allow for the meeting to move forward. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Well, I think then that if the two of you feel comfortable in that role, that I certainly don't have any objection.
Anyone else on the committee?
Or bylaws in general?
Oh, yeah. Okay, on that issue, thank you, yeah. Any other questions about the bylaws?
Do we have to, there are blanks here in terms of the meetings, do we actually have to?
Yeah, I know, those with super busy schedules are really...
We'll have to change also Article 3, the duties of officers, determine how we decide each time, maybe just taking simple, alternating times of whoever's present.
Which item is that under Article 2?
Article 2, Section 1, and the duties of the chair and the duties of the vice chair. So I think we should say the duties of the co-chairs. One of the two co-chairs shall preside at all meetings of the committee. The co-chairs working with members of the committee in special open for preparation and distribution of the agenda for the committee meetings, and shall appoint all committees and their chairs and should perform all of their duties prescribed. So I think that we should just change to one of the two co-chairs shall preside, and then the second sentence, the co-chairs working with the members of the committee. And then I think we can strike Section 2 altogether.
There's a portion that says in the absence of, part 2.
Okay, so yeah, so then we could say, or perhaps the co-chair shall, at the end of that paragraph, the co-chair shall alternate presiding over.
Last Thursday, 11:30.
Yeah.
So again, we shall be held on the last, well, this is.
That would be like August 30th. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, what would we do? Held on,
On the last Thursday of each month,
Okay.
something to say. 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at.
No, you have to be quiet. I'm just
Mira,
saying.
do you want to make any comment about this location being challenging for any reason? When you and I spoke on the phone yesterday, I mean, I spoke with the guard downstairs, and they seem to be in tune with the needs of our patients, but
Yeah,
become better.
because I've heard from several different people in the community who have come not only for this meeting, but for other meetings here, that they've had trouble getting past the police with their medical cannabis, even if they're showing their recommendations, and they've been told that what they have is illegal, or that their cannabis pipes are used for crack
All the
pipes, and they
time.
could be arrested.
We're done
And
now.
I think that's a concern, but I also think that, that with, I think that this is generally one of the better places, like, I think that, I would like it if we could do something, maybe as a committee, to try to address this problem. I've already talked to the sheriff and filed a complaint with the mayor's office on disability. But I think if it continues, if maybe we could address it or do a letter to them or something like that, that would help. Because what they're really concerned about, and the way I stated it, is the public's access to their government. So, but other than that, like, I think that this is probably the most convenient, at least for like people I know that are interested in coming to this and stuff.
right, I'm willing to do that for right now. I'd like to see, if we ever do get a clip back, to see if,
I don't think we need one.
I honestly think we do. This is so helpful, and then the note-taking, and then actually they're being able to walk us through in case we're forgetting something, you know. But anyway, I'm hoping that at some point, especially when we finally get to the point where we can have the opportunity to bring department head, or not department heads, but people from department to speak to us, that we could try and get one of the fourth floor committee rooms or hearing rooms, you know, not the large ones, but there are smaller ones there.
Yeah, totally.
It's easily accessible then for folks in wheelchairs or some kind of
Thank you, Michael.
ambulatory situation. Plus you can get more people into those spaces in the way of public. So I was hoping that we could eventually get to that point. I don't know, maybe for the next couple times while we're doing the formation part, we haven't even discussed subcommittees at all, which is something that the public has talked about and ourselves.
So maybe we should say, for the purposes of the bylaw today, is that, you know, it will remain in this location, but maybe we can add, pending discussion with the city administrator's office, we will explore other options that remain readily accessible to the community, but perhaps don't have the same security elements, something like that.
Oh, well, they're going to have the same security. They're gonna have to
Well,
come
yeah,
through.
but I mean, just that
That's another issue.
that we're addressing it in some way so that members of the public are not turned, or members of the committee are not turned away because of their status as a medical candidate patient.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think a bigger ramification